until this point, I would say in my life, I always looked for role models and just people to look up to. So I was always the kid that was asking older people questions. And for a lot of that time, I feel like I wasn't really getting good answers. I was starting to come to a realization that just because someone's older, that doesn't necessarily mean that they've matured or figured things out. And so a lot of the times I would have to find that information elsewhere. And now at this point in life, I feel like through communication, I can maybe look at the youth and have something to tell them. Communication is so big to me. I like conversations, and I watch a lot of podcasts and hear back and forths where they work through problems and come with answers. And I've always been interested in that, and I love sports. So I'm so into the play-by-play broadcasting and just how the two guys seem to be so friendly with each other and able to just articulate the game and things like that. So I've always been pretty big on communication, and I want to have my hand in that and with kids and just teaching and helping them grow. I would say honestly to just follow what excites you and what makes you happy, or I guess I would say that to myself is just doing the things you love, I guess. Finding yourself within those things. I know a lot of the times younger kids can follow what's popular or try to make a name for themselves and do other things, or they're involved in stuff that's not quite who they are, but you know, it's what everyone else is doing, so they feel a little bit more comfortable. So I would say doing what you love really will help you in finding a career path and just making sure that your overall happiness is there, and everything else is going to fall in line. You'll find a career, or you'll find where you need to be or the people you need to be around, and just putting yourself in the right positions. Don't run away from them. Definitely be open to finding solutions to them rather than just all together walking away from it. Because conflicts are gonna happen regardless, and a lot of the times you're just intensifying them when you just walk away and they never really get solved, or you never quite figure out how to handle that situation. So embrace them and figure out ways to go about it. I would say I haven't been the best at doing that. It's something I definitely need to work on, but it's so important when you meet people that are doing things similar to what you're interested in. um, you might not know who can help you or who can push you forward or what someone might know. So when you meet a person, definitely get to know them outside of whatever reason you're with them there for. And you never know what that could unfold or entail. Like here I am now just because I was going to play basketball at a gym, and some lady comes in and she asks for a bit of our time. I have a great conversation with her, and now here I am with this opportunity. So it's very important. I would say every person that you come across, be able to give a little bit of yourself to them and be open to giving a little bit of them, and it can go a long way. To me, work ethic is further than just doing what needs to be done. It's engaging in it. You really have to build on it, bring something to it, not just doing it, but it's bringing yourself to it, expanding on it, taking away from it, being able to take away the things that maybe aren't so necessary in it. Ask questions, because even at a job, I mean, you can be doing something that's not necessarily on your list of duties, but in doing this, you're helping out tenfold. Or maybe ask a question about, why do we do this? This seems a bit outdated. And hey, who knows? Maybe it's not so necessary now as it may have been before your time there, and they take it away and it makes things better. So when you're working, no matter what you're doing, you should be implementing new ideas to it and taking away from it. Maybe outside of that, finding things that work and then bringing it into the job. A strong character is one that's not easily broken, So you stand on the things that you believe in. You're not so willing to just bend that. You say what you believe, regardless of what other opinions might be. You know, you stand on what you say and you stand on who you are, and you don't forget about that. I would say that's having a strong character. And I would say that it's important to have this because in life, there's going to be people who want to steer you in certain directions or maybe have ideas for you. But at the end of the day, it has to be what you want to do and where you want to be. Um, Maybe it might be through good intentions what others may have planned out for you, but really you need to best go with yourself. And that goes again with happiness, following your true happiness. What makes you happy? What excites you? What keeps you passionate? Following those things for yourself and maybe not always what someone else might believe. So that goes hand in hand with a strong character and why you should have one. After one making a mistake, you have to think about what you just did. Maybe think about why you just did what you just did. And most importantly, really start to think about what are you going to do after that? What comes next? How do you get yourself out of that situation? Um, it's a part of life. We all make mistakes. But when we make those mistakes, strong character is found in what you do afterwards. So getting your way out of it, being a man about the situation, admitting to what you did, and just learning from it, honestly, so that you don't put yourself in those positions again, so that you can improve on them. And maybe even someone else may be in a similar situation. And then in that point, you can provide a perspective and insight on how do you work your way through that? How do you move on? How do you get forward? Oh God, this is something I did not do very well myself. I mean, now I'm starting to get there, but I would say if you're putting your focus into one of them and starting to do well in it, start to use some of those same qualities and skills that you use in the other. So I would say I always was a pretty good student, and I would go to school and I would have success with my grades and just functioning, being on the basketball team or the other programs or the extracurricular things. I really had to learn how to bring that home, how to engage myself in my family, talk to them. I would just go to my room and that'd be it, close the door, and I'm doing homework or I'm doing my own thing. But I started to learn, hey, I could use these same skills that I use in school when it comes to communicating with teachers about projects or making friends or deciding what I'm going to do or where I'm going to go. I can do that at home or just fill them in or be more engaged at home. So it's really just whichever one you do best at, try to bring some of those same skills over to the other. And a lot of the times, it can work out pretty well for you because those same tools that you use to be successful in one thing, you can use to be successful in another. All right, so first year of college. So after high school, I took 2 years off where I was just working. Not much was really going on, and I needed a lot of guidance. I just needed some motivation to make my next step. So I went out to Colorado, Denver, Colorado, to visit a friend who was going to school out there. And for 6 days, essentially, we would just get up and I go to all his classes with him and just see exactly what it was he was doing. We uh we went to the food pantry and we did some work there, and I really got a guide for where I wanted to go. I was pretty lost at this time. At this time, I was just working at a a grocery store. I was seeing people coming in drunk, smoking in the cooler or whatever, and I just got sick to my stomach every day showing up there, being around these adults that were just depleted almost. And I wasn't doing much better myself, honestly. I was smoking at the time, which I never did. throughout my entire years of high school or before that, um, I just wasn't myself. I wasn't playing basketball, and this is something I love to do. Since I started, maybe in about eighth grade, it's just been the one thing I know I could always go to. And still to this day, I play a lot of pickup basketball, but just nothing was really going right at the time, until this trip. And when I went out there to go see him, it was almost like, yeah, okay, now I know this is where I need to be at. So when I came back, I enrolled at MATC and I was ready to get things started. But however, even then, it didn't exactly pan out right away. I mean, yeah, I started back doing some of the things I love to do, like basketball, but school was starting to not go well because I'm getting bad grades. My head isn't where it needs to be. I'm not focused. I'm hanging out with friends that I'm meeting back up with that I haven't seen in a while. And by next semester, I was like, okay, I need to do better in school. And it's funny how it works. I mean, you just start showing up, you're getting your work done, and then everything just clicks. And you start to feel happier, and other things outside of school start going well. Your grades are going back up. You're able to better manage your time between doing these things you love and also getting your schoolwork done. And now you're getting involved in other things. You're more involved, and it's like you have more energy, but you're doing way more than you were doing before. And it's crazy how that works, but it's something that I always tell people. If you involve yourself more and you get involved in more things, it's funny how it works, but you also get more energy than you once had because I feel like almost in a sense, you're just using all of your tools, all of your body, all your muscles, all of your mind, and you're more engaged in life as a whole. So that's where I am now. I feel like I'm in a place where I want to do more than I was doing before. My grades are fine, so okay, now I want to be able to have an internship or be a part of things like this here. Or now I'm playing basketball on a rec team and we have a game this Tuesday, and it's all coming around full circle, and I'm doing the things that I love to do.